Hire a temporary worker as an in-home caregiver. The temporary foreign worker program is intended to be used when you are facing short-term skills and labor shortages, and only when no Canadians and permanent residents are available. Families can hire a foreign caregiver to provide care in a private residence, 2 children, seniors or persons with certified medical needs when Canadians and permanent residents are not available. Program requirements. Processing fee. Employers must pay $1.00 for each position requested to cover the cost of processing a labor market impact assessment (LMIA) application. Families or individuals seeking to hire a foreign caregiver to provide home care for individuals requiring assistance with medical needs are exempt from paying the LMIA application processing fee with submission of a medical certificate attesting to the individual's incapacity to care for themselves. Families or individuals with a gross annual income of $150 or less seeking to hire a foreign caregiver to provide childcare in their home to a child under 13 years of age also qualify for the processing fee exemption. There will be no refund in the event of a negative LMIA, or if the application is withdrawn or cancelled by the employer, since the fee covers the assessment process and not the outcome. In addition, if a living requirement is found during the assessment of the LMIA application, there will be no refund. Refunds will only be available if a fee was collected in error. For example, an incorrect fee amount was processed. Employers must be aware that Employment and Social Development Canada (ESDC) has a policy that prohibits employers and third-party representatives from recovering the LM processing fee from temporary foreign workers (TFWS). Recruitment fees. There may be a variety of fees and costs incurred in the process of recruiting TFWS, including but not limited to cost of using a third-party representative, advertising fees, fees paid by a foreign national for assistance with finding or securing employment, fees paid by an employer for assistance or advice in the hiring of foreign nationals. As an employer, you must confirm and ensure that you or anybody recruiting on your behalf doesn't charge or recover any recruitment fees, directly or indirectly, from the TFWS. Failure to do so will result in a negative LMIA decision. Language proficiency. Caregivers must have a level of fluency that enables them to communicate effectively and independently in an unsupervised setting. Record of employment. Under the provisions of the Employment Insurance Act, all employers are required to provide an RO when an interruption of earnings occurs for an employee. This requirement applies whether the employee is a Canadian or a foreign worker. The RO, which indicates the wages paid and the number of weeks the TFW worked, is required by the foreign worker as proof to qualify and apply for permanent residency. TFWS also need the RO to apply for employment insurance benefits. Proof of individual requiring care. Employers must provide proof that they or a dependent is in need of care. The documentation that must be submitted along with the application form includes proof of one of the following: age and parentage for each child under the age of 18. Provide one of the documents listed: long-form birth certificate, adoption order, official guardianship, or medical doctor's note confirming the pregnancy and the due date. Age for each senior, 65 years or older. Provide one of the documents listed: birth certificate, passport, or Old Age Security OAS identification card. Disability, chronic or terminal illness for each disabled, chronically or terminally ill person. Provide one of the documents listed: completed Schedule H medical disability, chronic or terminal illness certificate, EMP 5600 form, signed and dated by the physician, or Physicians note attesting that the patient has a disability, chronic or terminal illness, and that they require access to a living caregiver. Employment agreement. Although a copy of the employment agreement isn't required at the time of LMIA submission, you must commit to providing a completed and signed employment agreement to each foreign worker on or before their first day of work with you. An employment agreement must include information for employment in the same occupation, with the same wages and working conditions as those set out in the offer of employment, be drafted in either English or French, as preferred by the foreign worker, and be signed by both the employer and the foreign worker. Employers must maintain complete employment records that fully document compliance with the employment agreement throughout the duration of the employment. Note: employers cannot force any TFWS to perform duties for which they were not hired or trained. For example, if an employer submits an application to hire a TFW as a caregiver, the duties given to the worker must correspond to that occupation and not those associated with a cleaner. That's all for today's video. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, please hit the like button. If you want to see more videos, hit the subscribe button. And if you have something to say, please leave a comment.